After a 7-year hiatus, England's infamous progressive metal outfit Sikth reunited with their original lineup and unleashed a very promising EP, Opacities. Reunions can be a fickle business, able to swing in any direction. It set the bar high for this full-length release, but I wasn't anticipating the band to, dare I say it, outdo their classic debut, The Trees Are Dead and Dried Out. It's a bold statement to make, and it comes over 20 or more listens where learning the ins and outs has only strengthened my adoration of a record that plays through hit after hit. There isn't a weak point to be found. Everything is utterly brilliant, and the album's moving, emotional, poetic breaks performed by Mikey Goodman on The Ship Has Sailed, The Moon's Been Gone for Hours, and When It Rains perfectly fit the theme while juxtaposing the musical intensity of the metal track's persona. Upon writing this, I've learned that Justin Hill left the band just before the record, his replacement Joe Rosser barely noticeable, fitting snugly into the Sikth sound with a similar vocal style. Reflecting on the current social-political state of affairs, Sikth's concurrent theme of disconnection from nature seems the ideal stage for their statements littered throughout insightful lyrics, the most potent of which are found neatly packaged as the punchlines in the illuminated choruses and hooks that spark every song. Century of the Narcissist remarks on the sharing-obsessed social media generation and the impact it will have on us. The best of it comes out in the choruses. Money makes the world go round, they weave the web without a sound, breaking from the frantic screeching shouting to glossy melodic sing-along hooks that will make wonderful moments live. Each song is armed with these hooks, and the compositions are thick, dense, rife with ideas. Never does a song get dull. The compositions find plenty of temperament to direct the energy in different directions, with passageways of post-rock melodic, shimmering acoustic guitars, djent time signature breakouts, and all sorts of creative avenues. In its density, the band fly out of the traps with intrepid riffs, bouncing off one another with lively, fretboard blazing melodies interwoven between the chugging grooves. The drums charge down with an arsenal of tricks to liven the show. In every song you can hear stunning moments of creativity that might pass you by with an inattentive ear. The bass gets in on the action too, making itself known with jiving high-strung slaps to rise from the backbone groove and add some aesthetic dazzle. I touched on it more, but this album is simply loaded with stunning sing-along moments as the choruses come with a masterstroke to elevate what are mostly already excellent absorbing songs. Guest vocalist Spencer Sotelo of Periphery may steal the show with one of the album's best. His powerful, bright, pristine voice is quite possibly becoming my absolute favourite in this generation of metal. It all comes together for a production that I barely noticed, a total compliment. Everything feeling so together and on point that never the texture of the instruments comes into question, or do they ever clash. The album's flow is superb, each song a pleasure, and rolling from one to the next you'll find yourself at the end drooling for more. If I had any criticism, it may be a lack of the experimental flavour tracks like Emerson and Chilipo brought to their debut. However, it in no way feels lacking or in need of it. The album stands on its own too, and those elements of their sound are left in the past. And as I wrote at the time, The Future in Whose Eyes is utterly brilliant, a contender for best album this year. And what would you know, in 2017 it was on the top of my albums for that year, and I gotta say, this album has held up so well over time. I kind of knew it at the time when it was fresh, but year after year this is a great album that I love to go running to, and listening to these songs over and over again, they really do not tire. And I stand by my statement, I think this is Sikth's best album despite them having an absolute classic of a debut. I think The Future in Whose Eyes is my favourite by this band. I'll also take this moment just to comment and say that there has been no new music from the band since this record, and with another member parting and very little news from them in a couple of years, this may actually be the last of Sikth we ever hear, and I hope that is not so. I would love to hear a little more of their sound one more time. Anyways, if you like what you heard, go and check it out. It is really a cracking album. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to see some more of my music blogs, go check the website out. Every page has over 1,000 articles sorted by artist, year, genre and more. Just hit Ctrl F and have a search for something that interests you. You can find a link to the blog in the description box down below. where you'll also find links to my other YouTube channels. Check them out if you are curious. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to subscribe to catch the next upload.